Hello and welcome back to the channel. I am here with two guests today, London and Rita, Maiden of the Spear. Thank you so much. And I think the first thing that I want to start with is this Screenrant article. So the first paragraph is talking about the first episode of season 3, and it starts with it doesn't say where, but I'm assuming it's Valon. It says it begins with women in blue and white walking past those in red to the throne room of the Amerlin seat. Establishing the Watcher of Seals is also coming. Liandrin accuses Swan Sanche of breaking custom law, but after a lengthy conversation about Rand and Moraine, escaping. Liandrin is accused of being a dark friend. This results in a fight between Liandrin and 13 Sisters after the former uses her powers inside the chamber. This battle makes it look like Liandrin will have the upper hand, even cutting a woman in half with her powers. When all sisters fall, the fight becomes between her and Swan, who arrive at stalemate when they both fall. The scene then cuts to Rand and Moraine out in the city streets, seemingly aware of what's going on inside the throne room. The footage ends on a cliffhanger with that promise from showrunner Rafe Judkins that there are 10 more minutes. They continue in the same vein after that. So, thoughts? Rita,
Well,
you
that
want
was
to go
crazy.
first?
Yeah, it was crazy. Like the cold open for season 3. I'm pretty sure it's gonna open with this, which is a bold choice. Like opening
Yeah.
with a major fight, like chaos. It's not only an amazing choice, but a bold one because it's definitely like shocking to new viewers or people who haven't like read the books. They're definitely going to be very what's happening, what's going on, and there are some changes. The focus being on Liandrin is really cool, and I feel like the way that this article depicted the fight, it sounded very brutal and it sounded very much dark, which I think was a little bit missing from the other seasons. I think season 2 was a bit darker than season 1, but season 3 just seems to amp that, and I am very excited. And I just love how Liandrin and Swan are gonna be like, face to face. And
Yeah.
I'm so excited to see this because 10 more minutes. Oh my god. That's incredible. And I cannot wait to see it.
What do you think that either of you, what do you think the 10 minutes afterwards could be if it's focusing? It says it cuts from what's happening between Liandrin and the women she's fighting, but then it cuts to Rand and Moraine. So are we assuming that they're all in Valon then if they're on the street, but then like it continues 10 minutes?
Or it's like one of those things where like Rand and Moraine are, well, if they're aware of what's going on, then they'd almost have to be in Valon, right?
And that's what it seems like. It's so vague, though.
But like, what I'm trying to figure out why they would be back in Valon, or like because it's a Screenrant article, they interpreted whatever is on their face as them knowing what's going on, but that's not really what's happening. It could be one of those things where like there's 2 different major events happening at one time, because that's really popular with TV nowadays, right? Where like you have like this big major battle, and then all of a sudden you cut to over here, and there's this other chaos. And then this other thing is winding up, whatever. So maybe it's something like that. I don't know. I guess we're kind of done with the Seanchan. No, we're not. Like they're still in Falm, right? So it could be some like final like showdown, getting some of the Aes Sedai broken out or whatever from the Seanchan.
Ooh, that would be cool. Like a like an uprising.
It would be nice. Yeah. It would be nice to not go so hard into. I would like to see the Seanchan not take Aes Sedai so much like they do in the books, because they're just upsetting to me. So I would like them to just like disappear from the face of the earth.
Yeah, just kind of trickle out of existence.
They're my least favorite. I prefer the Forsaken over the Seanchan.
That was always my problem with Tuon and Matt, because I love Matt so much, and I'd be like, Matt, what are you doing with the slaver? Like, come on, friend.
I know. It's one of the things that I hated about like Matt's journey. It's that, because I know it was like in the prophecy, but at the same time, it wasn't my
Yeah.
favorite thing in the whole world. I was like, why are we doing this? But yeah, it is what it is. No,
Yeah, I mean,
it's written, so.
as the leader of the Shanshan Empire, like you can't really walk that back like, oh, I didn't know what was happening, you know?
Yeah.
I'm trying to
Yeah.
I'm trying to think about this battle though so we saw in the trailer, like it definitely looks like everything moves from what the article says, like in the throne room to like outside on the streets, because we do see those interactions between Alana and her warders and Liandrin, and it's kind of just like right out there. So I wonder if that's, for some reason, Rand and Moraine might be in Tarvalon. But again, like I feel like Moraine can't. Yeah, I feel like Moraine, she literally took an oath that said she won't come back unless summoned. So unless Swan Sanche summons her there for some odd reason, why would she be there?
I don't think
I don't
just
know.
don't think she is. I think it's a misinterpretation.
Yeah.
Maybe. I know that in the panel, Yosha said that they're all going to be together at the beginning of the season. And I don't know, Tarvalon, I don't see how that would make sense for them to be there at the beginning of the
Unless
season.
she stashes Rand somewhere, like in an inn, and like brings the women like back to the tower. But again, if I were Moraine, I would be terrified of leaving Rand on his own anywhere by himself.
Oh, 100%,
yeah. I don't think they end up back there. I think that's just like the way somebody's interpreting it, because I mean we haven't seen what this person saw, so it sounds like it's like cutting from there. So it might be that she's aware of something else or they're aware of something else completely different that's happening, but it looks like they're aware of this chaos for a second, but it turns out there's some other crazy stuff unfolding. What's interesting to me is the 13 Aes Sedai and Liandrin supposedly having the upper hand. Like that stood out to me as like what's happening there, if like unless one of them is a dark friend or something like that. That makes sense.
That surprised me too.
Yeah, I hope they don't change the rules so much.
How is she gonna?
Yeah, because that puts her kind of at like god tier channeler at that point.
Exactly.
Well, unless that's how we learn that there's multiple Black sisters in the tower, because it looks like she's going to be confronted by dark friend or
and then they separate.
And then there's a few that are dark friends, or like somebody that's a Forsaken that's hidden, something like that. Maybe.
That would be a good twist. I think too it mentioned it was pretty much like Blue Aja and Red Aja, which I really loved, because in the books those are the two Ajas that are like constantly butting heads and have this really fierce rivalry. So you could even, I guess you could, obviously not knowing what happens, just speculating, but you could make the argument that some of the members of the Red Aja didn't feel like fighting back. Like they saw Liandrin going buck wild and they were just kind of like, like we'll just step back and see what happens. And somehow she gets the upper hand with like the event of someone else not like jumping in to help the side of the Amerlin. I don't know.
Yeah.
Or Liandrin was holding weaves that whole time, but I feel like they would have seen that coming.
Yeah, but even 13 sisters should be able to cut through a weave that you're holding. According to the books, 13 is just like the magic number. They could be garbage like at channeling, and they should be able to deal with like a Forsaken. So that
I have
garbage
no
at
idea
channeling
how
is my
she's gonna
technical
pull that
term.
off.
Yeah. I'm excited to see it though.
I
Except
know
for the person getting cut in half. I don't really see that, but you know, now I know it's coming. So
yeah, you can prepare. That was like last season. Someone aired the the TV ratings for like each episode in advance, so it could like warn you like don't let your kids watch because someone gets their hands cut off this episode. So people were going through and like learning all of the events.
I mean, the books are gory, so it makes sense that the show is a bit gory. But I just like I need mental preparation, because when I'm reading it, I can kind of be like, la la la. Someone's cut in half, but magically there's no blood. I mean,
It's a lot different seeing it.
Yeah.
So before we started, we were talking about Matt and what his journey might look like this episode, and Rita had
That's
some
amazing.
thoughts.
I don't think he's gonna be in the Aiel Waste. I don't think that he's gonna be with Rand and Moraine and Egwene. I think he's gonna be with Nynaeve and Elaine. Because there's no Stone of Tear. I have no idea. I don't know. If he's not in the Aiel Waste and he doesn't have the Stone of Tear, then what is he gonna do? That's my biggest concern. Because I have no idea what is he gonna do.
Okay, so if we don't get Matt in the Waste, what would be like the top picks for you that you feel like would make you happy?
Okay, I really want a nod. I don't know, like something happening with girls, and Matt is sort of maybe even like there's a few nods to the bands. It's a little bit early, I know, but something like that. And I feel like I really want him to have the snakes and foxes sequence, which doesn't have to be in like Rhuidean. I would prefer it to be, but if it's not, it can happen elsewhere. It just needs to go through the door. So I feel like those are the things that need to happen with him this season. And yeah, because if he's not gonna like do Stone of Tear, then I don't see many options like for him. Oh, and I also think that he's gonna do the quarterstaff battle with the brothers in Tar Valon. I think he's gonna start in Tar Valon and then go with the girls. Pretty sure that I think so.
Correct it.
On the teaser, at least.
I just don't think it would work with the pace, but I do think that, he could go back to Tar Valon with the girls, and but he's already got the memories, right? So we've kind of established that Ishamael maybe inadvertently gave him all of the memories he needed, along with him blowing the horn, and so now he doesn't really have to deal with the Aelfin and Ilfin either, which bummer, but it kind of makes sense, because I don't know how they would have done that without it being silly. But maybe he goes back to maybe like what we're seeing is the beginning, is like when the tower splits is probably this season, right? So maybe we get to like start to see his battle skills coming from that, and
Okay.
and even that fight between him and the brothers with the quarterstaff, does it have to be a friendly match?
Oh,
Okay.
I like that a lot.
Okay.
So I think he does go back to Tar Valon. I think the tower splits, and even like it would make sense that if we're dealing with like now the whole Red Aja is stained with the accusation of Dark Friend because one of them is revealed or whatever, that you would end up with something dramatic happening, and then you kind of and I think that he becomes, and the band would probably come out of that, because that battle spills into the streets. So
yeah that could actually work really well in terms of building up Matt's, one of the great captain commanders, Matt, and just his ability to lead and take charge in a situation where there's chaos everywhere. But also this might kind of be like a good placement for him, because if he's in proximity to Egwene, Elaine, Nynaeve when all this is happening, this might be something that kind of gives them pause, where before he was the one who kind of shucked his duties and just like left them behind. And this might be something that could kind of bring things back around for them to where, like, I don't know, they could feel like more trust between them, maybe.
I mean, I still hold on to the belief that we need snakes and foxes. I feel like we need it because prophecies, Ashandare,
The questions. Yeah.
It needs to happen. Without the sequence. There simply isn't.
But we have Min.
Exactly.
We have Min for all the prophecies.
Oh, God damn it. Yeah, we
We do need stuff for Min to do, though. Yeah, but
I don't know. I just feel like it's one of the most, and I really wanted to see it. I don't know if it's like
visually, like the nerd in me who likes all things like creatures and creepy. Like, I do really want to see it. I do want to.
Exactly, because it's such a out of world thing. It's so alien, and It's so Wheel of Time, and I want them to keep it in because it
Yeah,
gives so much like flavor, you know.
I just worry that they can be easily replaced by so many other elements of the story, and we've already seen it happen with the memory
True.
thing. So
True.
I feel like that where he goes, I remember that was the moment where I was like, no Tower of Git. Got it, kind of.
I will say when I interviewed the costume designer, Sharon Gillum, she said that there is one character that like Rafe kind of like threw in her lap last minute that she said was, I can't remember her words exactly, but she said it's something unlike you've never seen before in the show, and that it was something like she had to really like go the extra mile with in terms of like costuming. So maybe maybe it's the fin.
It could be.
Because I'm trying to think
really
of other weird things out there that would be like a something
or
unlike
maybe
you've ever
it's like
seen before.
Ogier. Maybe it's Ogier. Like what's going on with like no idea what's his plotline gonna be?
Two Rivers with Perrin, I guess.
Yeah.
We haven't seen the setting. We haven't seen anything.
I would love to see the setting. And just more variation of Ogier would be nice. Like just a couple of them.
It would have been nice to see the Ogier that travel with the Shanshan, but I don't see like a ton of those or books either because they're more tied to the Empress. But like I would like to see like the battle Ogier.
Right, the armor and just how they like stylize them. That's something like I love that duality between the two, like the one race where you see that split and it's like the peaceful, loving, harmonious Ogier and then like the war Ogier. But I mean, I guess they all have a little bit of like warring in them. Like the Ogier go hard when provoked, but I don't know.
Loyal went hard in season 2. He had that scream when he was like tied up. I was like, I wanted to see more of that. I kind of feel like after watching the trailer, I'm questioning everything. Like, is like how much of the season is actually going to be in the waking world versus like in these other realms? Because it seems like it's a lot just from what they showed us. Yes. I feel like they put lots of scenes that are not real in the teaser. Scenes that are not quite
like
what
cut
they
scenes? Oh, okay.
Yeah, scenes that are like not in the real world. Because I saw a frame where Liandrin was in the Emerald seat, Lanfear was beside her. That's World of Dreams. 100% that's not real. It's probably World of Dreams. And I also think Rand with the hair, the new hair, it's not real, but I don't think it's World of Dreams. I think it might be a little bit of flicker or glass cauldrons or something like that. And and Moraine and Lanfear, 90% of their scenes are not real. They're World of Dreams. They did that on purpose to like confuse it for us to try to spot what's what. Like, is this real? Is this not real? What's going on here? So yeah, that's what I think.
But they wanted us to do what fans do, which is go through and pick it apart frame by frame and talk about it for months and months, like weird psychotic people that we are. Yeah, and they did a great job.
They chose so much with Lanfear and Moraine specifically that I feel like they want us to be really scared for what happens to Moraine. Okay, how about favorite scenes in the trailer? London, do you have
there's that one point where there's Lanfear and then I think some other like Aes Sedai or whatever around her, and there's somebody crawling away. Do you guys know who that is? That's crawling on the ground.
I think it's Moraine. I think.
Okay. All right. I liked that because it was terrifying, but just because like I'm like, oh, that's some horror. We're doing horror stuff in this season, which I'm excited for and also scared of and nervous about.
I just need to see all of the like close-ups of what everyone is wearing in that scene because it's too far away in the trailer and it's like really grainy. But it looks pretty cool that it's all of them him plus Lanfear plus, was it Mogideon maybe?
Maybe, yeah. Sometimes I'm kind of bad at like, I don't like pause and take shots of things. I just rewatch it, like, and just expect my eyes to be faster, my brain to work faster. So I don't know who all is in it. I just, because I keep getting stuck on the crawling away thing, and yeah, but for whatever, I like that one just because it's just terrifying for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rita, what do you think?
I think it's Ren. He's channeling a bunch of weaves of fire. And I think the scene where he shatters is reflections, the shadow rising during the bubble of evil moment. But if you see in the corner, there's like a dark figure on the bed, a shadow on a bed, and I don't know what's that about. I'm so curious to see what's going on.
I liked how metallic it looked, like it had just crawled out of the mirror. But like with them showing that, I mean, I feel like it's a possibility that we have multiple bubbles of evil then maybe. Like if they're giving us one, maybe there will be more. Like what if Perrin, we saw him in the Two Rivers with, doing his blacksmithing. What if that bubble of evil happens in the Two Rivers? Like that would be terrifying, considering like he's going there to help protect these people, and then like catastrophe hits like under his watch, and it's something he doesn't understand. Like that's pretty scary. I think that Perrin scene though, like him swinging the axe at the end, I think that might have been my favorite. I'm ready to go back to the Two Rivers.
So cool.
It's like where it started. It'll be nice to go back and see the townies and kind of catch up on what's going on there with the White Cloaks. But also Fail, like I think she's just like, she's so ridiculous. She's like a child, but I think the show has the opportunity to give that character like a more tactful story. Like I'm not into all the like spanking and hitting. And so I think the show could really turn that around and make her like the character that I would like to love, if that makes sense.
From the trailer, as like since you mentioned it, there was like a quick like 1 second Perrin kissing somebody, and I think it was Fail, and she had like short hair, and the jawline looked very much like the actress that's rumored to play her. So I'm so interested to see that, and find one of my sister's favorite characters. And I never quite understood why, but let's see what they have in store for her in season 3.
Personally, I don't even know why I like her. I think it's the like Malden plot, like fighting for her people, but
yeah,
I don't know.
I like her politicking. I think maybe we could just get, because we did get like a completely different kind of backstory for Perrin for the show. So, I mean, obviously, I think those two characters are going to have tension, especially if she's Saldean, and Saldean women are the way they are. But it could be, instead of it being just like the unhealthy weirdness that they are in the books,
Right.
It might be one of those things where like she was kind of raised to be this sort of politician, but also kind of like we're going to pick up our husband's swords and ride into battle sort of person. And he just lost the last person that he loved, right? And in this horrible way, and he's the one that did it. So I think that it might be like, instead of kind of that like emotionally sort of manipulative, abusive thing that we get in the books, which I always hate, it might be just more frustration from both of them, because he's protective and he's also, I mean, I guess terrified of her getting hurt, and she's this actual independent woman that doesn't really need somebody rescuing her.
Those are all the aspects that I like about her. All of the stuff that happens between her and Perrin, the immature fighting and like hitting and stuff like that, get rid of it. Like just like when I think about the character, my brain just is like, delete. Like I don't even think about that stuff, and I go straight to further plot lines when they find themselves in like a better situation for their relationship. But I think it'll be really interesting what the dynamic is like for him and her in the Two Rivers together. And I don't know what that means for Perrin in terms of like his growth and how that will look like, because it still seems kind of fast, like them kissing and him being back in his home where his wife died. Like, I feel like that would be kind of really intense for him. So whatever happens to make them, instantly, I don't want to say instantly, but attracted to one another, like, I'm really excited to see like what leads up to that.
I'm just curious to see how they meet.
Why wouldn't she look for the horn in Manethrin?
True.
Okay. True. It's yeah. I consider that.
I could see her just passing
Smart.
through. I mean, that's how he met her in the other town. Is sort of passing through it, just kind of there.
She could also, I mean, maybe she hears about trouble there and like things happening. And so that like something in her head is kind of like, oh, interesting, I'll go investigate. And she, just kind of like charges in unafraid of, whatever might be happening there. Do you both think that Padan Fane will be there? Creeping around?
I don't know what they're gonna do with him, to be honest. Like, he could be with the Chanchet, maybe? I don't know.
The end of his story last episode was like Matt kind of like waving the Ashendari around at him and Padan Fane being like, whoa, buddy, and then that's pretty much it.
He hasn't really done a ton so far.
Right. I would love to see him going rogue. And
guys, he's gonna be with the White Cloaks, of course.
Yeah,
he's
but like, how does
White
he?
Cloaks, right?
Yeah, but like, how does he group up with them? Because in the books, it was like, wasn't it with like Yakim Carradine, or I don't remember. Like,
no, he in the books
he pretend to be somebody.
Well, he calls himself like a different name.
Yeah,
more.
And
he's like,
and he first meets up with Pedron Nile and convinces him that to send people to the Two Rivers. And then he ends up in the Two Rivers with Dane Bornhold is the person that's in charge of that unit. So in the Two Rivers. So he's with him.
I think that's like with Perrin saying last season, he had that line like, I'm afraid of what I will do if I ever see Padan Fane again. And he's saying like this rage inside of me, I'm afraid of it. So like wherever he pops up, if Perrin's there, like that's like it should be like immediate, like unhinged tension.
That's 100% foreshadowing. I totally forgot about that, but that's foreshadowing 100%. He's gonna be with the White Cloaks. I don't see him elsewhere, to be honest, because there's a link to him to the White Cloaks as it is in the books.
Well,
so
and the perfect place. The White Cloaks will be wherever Perrin is, because they have now they have the reason to really hate him, since Dane just watched his dad get clobbered. So.
He really did.
Yeah.
What do you think about the other Forsaken? Do you think that it'll just be Lanfear and Mogideon this season, or do we get like Asmodean and some of the others?
I really wanted to see Asmodean, but I don't think he's going to be in this season. I think it's just going to be Mogideon, to be honest. I don't see any more Forsaken showing up.
There was that, I think it was a leaked audition script that some people were guessing might have been Samael, but I mean, it could be like a leaked audition script that they didn't end up like using, because there was one that we had that was most likely, I think, one of the Tricond brothers that we never saw. So maybe it was like just something floating on the internet and kind of just fizzled out somewhere. But
I don't know. They're bringing lots of new characters that show up later in the books. Kaladin, he's in the teaser. You can see the fake like dragon tattoos on his arms. So I'm curious to see maybe like Asmodean or maybe something like that. I just want to see Grandale because she terrifies me so much. Flesh her out that she's more than just a woman who wears like very transparent clothing. Like, okay, she's so much more than that, and I want that.
Well, like, you can't underestimate how skilled she is with compulsion and the way that she operates in keeping like an entourage of pretty much like mindless slaves around her at all times that are completely like memory wiped. So like she has it's like the perfect cover to travel and be anywhere and it's really like a good defensive tactic when you think about it, because nobody's going to turn on you. Like nobody's going to rat you out because they don't remember anything.
Well, and if you use compulsion on people's friends and stuff, then all of a sudden, we see them. I'm actually surprised they don't do it more in the books. But if you use compulsion on somebody's friends, and somebody's own friends can become the people that betray them, it creates a lot of distrust and too, that I would actually love to see more of that. So instead of just like the hedonistic, I have a whole bunch of people that serve me all the time, to see it like used in a more
like
strategic
tactical
way.
Yeah,
of course. I think the 5 minutes that Morgadian was on screen already surpassed the books. Like Morgadian's book, that was crazy. Like the weaves, the way that that the room went dim, the way that she went up to Lanfear, like the way that she made clear that she was not on her side, she was on the Dark One's side. It's done, you know. That was absolutely crazy to me, and I was like, this is what's missing from the Forsaken in the books. This is it. This is the edge that they're missing, and I'm loving it, and I'm so excited because of that. I feel like they're really doing a good job at fleshing out these characters and giving them a flavor. Like, you know, like,
well, again, it's like the tactics. Like, I think Morgadian is overlooked in the books. I think she's probably my favorite female Forsaken, but it's not because I like her so much or I find her that interesting, but it's like her survival instinct and her survival like capabilities I think are really interesting. Okay, I almost forgot about this. I wanted to ask you both, London, maybe you can go first. What do you think about Morgase this season? Do you think that she's going to make it to the end of the season? What does her plot line look like to you, and or maybe what do you want to see with it?
With Morgase? I haven't thought about her. Well, I mean, it would make sense if just for like where the season is compared to the books, for her to not make it through. Right?
Yeah.
Wait, what? Really?
Time constraint. I'm just thinking of the time constraint. Say that again.
Y'all think she's gonna like die? Is that what I'm getting?
I think she might. I think it's very possible.
I hadn't thought about that, but it's possible. I hadn't like made that connection.
We close the season.
I mean, I think that would be like one of those like you just brought up the Morgadian scene. Like imagine a scene like that where it's, you know, Ravine, or maybe they combine some of the Forsaken, so it's like, you know, Samael as Ravine, like killing her and then like taking control of Camelin.
Oh, very interesting. Oh, but that's gonna make a lot of changes, especially with her children, Elaine, you know, Galad, Gawain. That's gonna impact them.
Well, they all think she's like dead in the books too, though. So
yeah.
They kind of carry on as if she's dead.
Like if they did it this way, and don't get me wrong, like I don't want this to happen. I really like Morgase, but if they did it this way and there's like an actual body, like she's actually dead, I feel like that gives Gawain and Galad like way more. It would make it understandable why they act like they do towards Rand, if they think that he's somehow responsible for it in a way.
I just want Rand to be actually responsible for it. I want to be a Forsaken that kills Morgase, not Rand. Let's not do that. I would not like that.
Well, that would be a great tactic if you're one of the Forsaken, you kill the queen, and then you somehow like make everyone think it was the Dragon Reborn, and he can't be trusted. Like that would be a good plan.
I think the first scene we're gonna see, it's gonna be an introduction to Elida and the brothers. Probably in Andor, because it was confirmed that we are going to get scenes in Andor in a panel. So that's a confirmation. So I think it's going to be an introduction to Elida 100%. Like, it's going to be Morgase and Elida.
I would like that.
I would too. I'm just wondering. I mean, maybe Morgase. Morgase is not queen by the end of the season.
I think you're right.
I don't want her to die, but I think she's not. I think at the least she's not queen. Just because of how fast, like, the clip that everything is moving at.
Yeah. And there's that scene of Elaine putting the crown on.
Putting the that's crazy.
I wish it was a prettier crown.
It was,
I actually don't know. I don't remember remember how it is.
It wasn't as ornate, I guess, as I thought it could be, but
Yeah.
it was like really sad, like her alone putting it on her own head and not like something ceremonial. Like you would expect like her brothers to be there or something like that, but I don't know.
But
it could be Teleron.
I think it's not real. I don't think it's real. I think it's a test, like her something along those lines. I don't see that scene as being actually real.
You know what I thought it could be? I like this even less, but if we had like an establishing, like maybe a couple scenes in Camelin, we meet Morgase, we meet Elida, we meet the brothers, and then like the next time we go there, it's Morgase being killed or, leaving the tower, fleeing, and then the reason that Gawain and Galad end up at the tower is they're bringing the crown to Elaine because Morgase is gone or dead. And then, I don't know, like it would be a good reason to bring like the whole entourage to her, Elida and her brothers and the crown together.
That's interesting. I don't know. That's very interesting. I don't know. I'm scared now. I hadn't considered any of that.
I don't want it to be true. Like, I don't want to see her get killed or like run away so soon, but
I guess I don't have a problem with it because like she just doesn't have like so many scenes like in the books either, before then. She doesn't really become an interesting character. Well, for me, she doesn't really become an interesting character really ever, but she's definitely before that. Like her as Morgase's queen is like not
okay. It's like, right.
I'm just thinking here. I know that they so supposedly they shot those scenes like in a real castle, and I would imagine like if you're shooting on location like that, you need like permits and whatnot. You've probably got like a couple takes and then you're out of there. Like it's not something, there's tourists and whatnot. You can't like hold up a whole like palace room, so maybe like there really is only like one or two shots and we never go back like to the like throne room or wherever it is.
Well, maybe, or just like the throne room, like the interior. It might be like just because they're shooting at a castle doesn't mean like everything in Camelin is at a castle. Like your interior shots and stuff, you can build that on for a set and whatever, and then just have like all of your exterior things or like
exactly
bigger, like wider, bigger like shots like that. Then you actually have to be on location.
Yeah, like rose gardens and just somewhere nice looking that looks like the exteriors of a castle or something like that. But I think that was where we're supposed to see Elida. I'm really excited about Elida. She's somewhat a character that I love to hate read.
I adore Elida. I defend Elida to some extent. Like Wheel of Time wouldn't be the wheel without that.
Right?
Yeah. She's a very complex character.
Same. There's something so fun about having a character that's just like that unhinged, but she's not evil. Like she's just manipulated and a bit delusional.
A bit,
well, and she's had contact with Pat and Fane too.
Exactly.
So,
yeah.
But we see that she's kind of a bitter, sort of mean-spirited person before then, and then she's super easily corrupted. But we don't know how bad she would have been without that little weasel.
The nudge. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all, I have a crazy theory about like this. Sorry,
I was done. Yeah.
Oh, okay, sorry. I have a crazy theory. I think Elida might kill Swan, or not kill her directly, or something happens and I think Swan dies, and it's somehow Elida's fault.
I think it's possible.
I think we have to deal with the stilling situation at some point. We haven't gotten to see anyone be stilled and what all that does to them, right?
Yeah, like I think for Nynaeve's story, like it's really important.
Well, Moraine though wasn't stilled, and Lan pointed that out.
Where
he's like, you're not acting like a stilled person because you're not trying to die right now. We see like Loghain a little bit, but we don't get to hang out. I think that I would like Swan to have I hope, you might be right and I'll be bummed, but I hope that we get Swan with a similar story that she has.
Yeah, I also don't want her to die, but I just have a feel Moraine 100% will die this season. I don't think Moraine's gonna walk out of this one. Swan, I think they might kill her somehow in like shocking way. I don't know how to feel about that.
I think for Nynaeve's story, it's pretty important that Swan is stilled but doesn't die, because I don't know if there's the same emotional weight behind Nynaeve healing someone like Logain versus, you know, Swan. Like, I think like that's probably one of the most incredible moments for her, because it's that thing that everyone said nobody can do.
Exactly.
And
Right. Well, and we've gotten to know Swan better than Logain point. Like, they've made her a more main character than she is like early in the books, where like
yeah.
we have her childhood and all. Like, yeah, it's
Yeah.
a huge bummer. But I mean, who knows? Nobody's safe, right? So
Anything is possible, really.
True.
yeah. And well, and Lyanna, we don't really care about yet, like in this show, right? Like, she's had like 6 lines.
Like,
Mhm.
she hasn't done like much. She hasn't really.
That would definitely give her more of a story if, you know, her and Swan live to fight another day. So with the teaser, is there anything that we didn't see? I guess just to wrap things up, is there anything that we didn't see that you're really hoping to get in terms of like, I don't know, like new casting, or maybe like a scene from like an actual official trailer that you're just like, that would be like the top thing that you want above all else? Mine's Elida, so like
Elida, yeah, of course. We haven't seen any. I want to see Colladin. I want to see more of Colladin.
Mm-hmm.
He's on the Elida like
Yeah.
type of villain. He's Elida's like, you know, I love his character. I just love those types of characters. And I cannot believe they're gonna put in season 3. I'm so happy. And I want to see more of, because he's so interesting. And I really hope they explore that. And I also want to see more of like Gwen going through like her journey dreamwalking with the wise ones and everything related to that. And I want to see maybe more of that. And Matt. Always more of Matt. I want Matt.
Okay, I'm just thinking when you said that, so I said Elida, and I know that this is probably never going to happen this season, but I think the only thing that I would be more excited about besides Elida would be Cadsuane, but I don't think we'll see her this season.
I don't think she's in this season. She's confirmed, but I don't think she's going to be in this season. I don't see it. But where is she, though? Where is she?
I don't know.
Right now, she's gardening somewhere, right?
Knitting, I don't know.
Just doing your stuff. Doing your stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, they've name dropped her a lot, far more than Elida even. I feel like that's a pretty good sign.
She might come in earlier.
She doesn't.
Unless we get her like at the very end, like Moraine does, you know, die or whatever, and that's where we get like Kathleen kind of marches in because
to mentor Rand.
Yeah,
but she's like
oh,
and I could see her being like, oh, like, let's see what mess I have to clean up here, sort of.
Yeah.
Fine, I'll do myself. Fine, I'll do it myself. Type of
yeah. I mean,
that's interesting.
I could definitely see like if something were to happen to Moraine, like you get a scene of like, you know, this pleasant looking older woman like knitting something, and like someone brings her in a slip of paper like eyes and ears or something, and she kind of like, you know, like, oh great, I gotta go back to
what work these children have made for me.
And also I saw that Rand, there was somewhere a description of season 3, and it said that Rand was barely becoming unrecognizable to his friends. So I think they're really bringing up the madness. They're really like pumping it up. And I think Cat Swan could be a good like, what are you doing? Like, because she does that in the books, and I put her like in season 4.
Yeah, I love her so much.
Me too. She's a very divisive character, but
people hate her.
Sorry guys, I absolutely I cannot back you up on this
adore
one. I
her.
hate her.
She's one of my favorites. I'm a big Cat Swain apologist.
I feel like if her character was doing the exact same thing, but it was a man, I feel like people would kind of be like, oh, like he's like hardcore or something. But because it's an old woman who's not like, like she's not like young and attractive, like there's not any of that going for it. It's just like she's a mean old witch. Hate.
Yeah, but like she's just a bossy old lady who doesn't. I mean, she doesn't. But she like well, and I there is some of that. I do actually really appreciate that in the books that we get these characters that it's like that are doing these big important things and they're female and they're not hot, and I that's great. Like,
right.
Because like with the way we depict women is so like all the time it's like but she's, even if they're older, they're like, well, she's older but she can still get it. But no, I mean, I feel like Cat's old, just a wise old lady that like doesn't care that much about making people like her anymore. And I hope we get more humor in this season. I know that we've all been like yay for the darkness, but I think that I would like some humor like laced in because that's one of the best things about the books is that they make you laugh even when crazy stuff is happening. Like I would like to see Matt, especially like that character really start to.
Absolutely. Because that's Matt. Like he gambles, he flirts, he saves the day. I need more of that. I need that Matt and less of, am I evil? Am I not evil? Like we moved past that. Let him be Matt.
Yeah, now we've moved on. Now we've got fun Matt instead of like grumpy dark Matt. And I
exactly.
You know what I just thought about? Tom is supposed to come back this season, so maybe he ends up somehow with Tom.
Matt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's when I started to like Matt. Like it was as soon as he was together with Tom, I was like, oh, okay. Like they've got this kind of like buddy cop energy, and I found that to be like the most like enjoyable part of like his early story, I think.
And they have backstory.
Sorry.
You're fine. You're fine.
That's he's got opinions about people sometimes walking by the house.
Yeah, he's telling us it's time, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I think we can wrap it up there. You guys, thank you so much. If you ever want to get back together and do it again, the offer always stands. And thank you. I will link both of your accounts, I guess, in the description if you would like me to. I know some people want to remain kind of like anonymous, but thank you so much. And we will be back with more, hopefully at a later date.